All right, so let's practice our circles again real quick. Get that shoulder in motion. All right, so right in the middle of your page, slightly as humanly possible, we're going to draw a circle about the size of a baseball or an orange. Don't worry about it being perfect, just worry about it being light. All right, now we need our guidelines, and we need to know where the center of his head is. So he's going to be looking off just slightly to the right, just slightly to the right. So a slightly curved guideline, start on the top, cutting out the bottom. I'm going to go a third of the way down from the top of the circle and draw a slightly curved horizontal guideline. And we'll do a little bit of measuring using our thumb and our index finger. Measure from the horizontal guideline you just drew to the bottom of the circle. Keep your hand like that, slide down so your index finger touches the bottom of your circle, and where your thumb lands, you're going to draw a slightly curved line about 1.5 inches wide going through that center guideline. Olaf has kind of a misshapen head. It's shaped a lot like Piglet's head, oddly enough. But he has a very flat top of head, so we're going to Frankensteinize him. We're going to start over the left where the guideline touches the circle. I'm going to draw a line going up and slightly to the right. I'm going to flatten out the top. I'm going to stop once I'm above about 1/4 of the way down the circle, and then I'm going to shoot down into that guideline. From there we draw his cheek, which is going to run along the guideline, and leave the circle just a little bit, and then shoot down to that line at the bottom. And now, because his head is turned to the right, that means that everything on the left side of the guideline is closer to us, so it's going to be a little bit bigger. So his other cheek appears larger, so we start above the guideline on this side and draw a little curve, running out to the guideline, and then we shoot down to that line at the bottom. All right, now we're going to trace back over his head shape, leaving your circling your guidelines alone. Just darken in the outline of his head.
Ooh.
All right, so there's our basic Olaf head shape. Now we go back to our light lines again, and we're going to give him his mouth. And we're going to go down from the cheek on the left, just below the guideline, and we're going to draw a little curve, which is going to be partially inside and outside of that circle. That's a dimple. Should be in a position where he can pinch his cheeks, so if you want to, you can go pinch. The other cheek is lower, therefore the other dimple is going to be lower. It's going to be entirely inside of the circle. So you can test that as well if you want. You go pinch. So over to the left now, we start in the middle of the dimple. I'm going to draw a line going off to the right until I'm lined up with that mark. Then I shoot through the mark and into the side of the circle. And then we'll shoot up to the left to run into the dimple. His head is turned to the right, so everything is angled off in that direction. So we give Olaf his buck tooth. It starts on the left side of the center guideline, and we draw a line going down to the bottom of the circle. Same thing on the right, and then you use the bottom of the circle as the bottom of the tooth. We can open the mouth up, starting from the corner of the dimple on the left. I'm going to run down just stopping above the bottom of the head, running to the right. A little swoop, and then to the right of the tooth, we draw a curve connecting down for the mouth. Then you can just go ahead and trace back over the mouth. All right, his eyes are ovals. Very, very lightly, I'm going to lean the oval against the center guideline. It's going to sit in between the top of the circle and the horizontal guideline. I'm going to lean another eye against that. It's going to be touching the top of the circle and the guidelines, but not the side of the head. Then we get his pupils. His pupils are circles. So the one on the left is bigger than the one on the right due to perspective. His eyebrows are halfway between the eye and the top of the head. They're triangular wedges. We start from the center guideline and draw a curve down, then use the guideline to give us our wedge. We go straight up from where the eyes touch. We draw the eyebrow muscle. Of course, he's a snowman, so of course he has an eyebrow muscle. And we go a little bit to the right of that, and we draw other eyebrow. This one's running off the side of his head. Now his nose is a carrot, and we're going to break that down into just a basic cone shape to help us out first. So we're going to start with a curve which is going to cut through the bottoms of the eyes. On the right side, the line is going to run down to where the mouth touches the tooth. And on the left side, we drag the line down a little bit farther and then shoot across to create our cone shape. We're going to carve our carrot out of this shape. We're going to go 2/3 of the way down the right side of the cone shape. And with our dark lines, I'm going to draw a curve which is going to start on the inside and bow out and down to the bottom. I'm going to wave out the bottom line. Make that curvy. Trace back over the top curve as is. And then bow it out a little bit and bring it back into finish. There's our carrot shape. Now he's a computer animated character, he's a three-dimensional character, but even if he wasn't, we would still want to show the illusion of 3 dimensions, and we want that carrot to look like it's coming towards us. So, carrots have grooves in them, so we're going to use the grooves to make this look a little more cylindrical. So we're going to follow the top curve of the cone right here, and go in a little bit and draw a little curve like that. And then a second, and a third, and a couple across the bottom. From there now, without drawing through the carrot, you can trace back over the eyes and the eyebrows and the pupils. You can shade in the pupils and the eyebrows. And when you get to the tops of the eyes, you can add a little bit of thickness up there. He's got eyelids. All right. So he has hair up on the top of his head, sort of. They're twigs. And so we're going to use our dark lines, and we're going to draw one twig sticking straight up, then snap it off the top. And then we'll draw a shorter one to the right, and then a split one to the left. I'm going to draw his upper torso. He's made up of 3 snowballs total. I'm going to go just on the inside of the bottom of his head. I'm going to draw a little bit of an angle. You can do this from light to dark. And another one to the right. And that just symbolizes that top snowball. You want it a little bit behind the head so that it looks like his head's actually sitting on his body. And he has buttons made out of coal, because he's a snowman. And it's an oval, but you want to be a little indenty with it, because it's a piece of coal. And then you can turn your pencil aside, use it like a paintbrush, and just shade through that really fast. You always want to use the side of your pencil to shade. Don't ever use the tip. The tip will take you forever and look really terrible when you're done. All right, let's draw his arm. We're going to go back to our light lines. We're going to draw a curve that's going to go up and line up with the bottom of the tooth very, very lightly. And we'll draw a parallel curve to that just below it. At the top of those lines, we're going to draw a circle or an oval leaning off to the right. That symbolizes the palm of the hand. Of course, his arm is a branch. His fingers are broken off pieces of the branch. The best way to describe them, they look like French fries. So we're going to draw a little short French fry for a thumb, and then 3 longer French fries for fingers. Now to make this thing actually look like a branch, we want to start by darkening the top curve of the arm, and we'll add a little indent to the top. Make it a little jaggedy. And then we're going to trace back over the top into the thumb, then get all the fingers. across the bottom. We'll add a little piece sticking out as if a portion had been broken off, like a little twig. And then you can add some curves across the bottom. We draw a curve for the palm of the hand, which is like the universal symbol for palm of hand. And the bottom two fingers, we can show a little bit of dimension to them just by drawing little ovals on the tips. And then you can throw some wood grain in there as well, just a couple of lines to show the curvature, the cylindricalness of the fingers. That looks like a nice happy snowman there. All right, of course, sign your drawing. And there you have it. Very quick lesson on how to draw Olaf.
Wasn't that just great?